So India is making this huge multi-billion-dollar bet on itself, on its own factories. It's all built around something called the Production Linked Incentive Scheme, or PLI for short. And the whole idea is to just supercharge manufacturing. Today, we're going to dig into the data and see exactly where this money is flowing, specifically into big sectors like automobiles, textiles, and food processing. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, so at the very heart of this whole policy, there's a really ambitious vision. India is making this massive push to become a true global manufacturing powerhouse. And look, this isn't just a catchy slogan, It's a fundamental piece of huge national strategies like Make in India. It's all about fueling the country's industrial and commercial future for years to come. All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the big mission behind this push. Then we'll unpack what these production-linked incentives are all about. After that, we'll dive into some of the key industries getting the spotlight. And finally, we'll see how they're planning to measure success. Pretty straightforward. Okay, first things first. Let's get into the why. Why is India pouring billions into these programs? It all comes down to the big picture. Well, the whole guiding philosophy can be summed up in two words, Atmanirbhar Bharat. You've probably heard it. It means a self-reliant India. And when you boil it down, the PLI scheme has two main jobs. First, cut down on how much the country relies on imports, and second, build a really strong, competitive industrial base right here at home, basically from the ground up. So that's the why. Now let's get to the how. How exactly do these incentives work to actually kickstart all this industrial growth? The clue is right there in the name, the Production Linked Incentive Scheme. It's a pretty simple deal, really. The government offers companies a financial bonus, a reward. But, and this is the key part, that reward is tied directly to how much more they sell of products made right here in India. So think of it like a simple three-step process. Step one, a company puts its money where its mouth is and invests in its manufacturing here in India. Step two, they have to actually boost their production and sales more than what they did in a specific base year. And finally, step three, once that growth is confirmed, boom, the government pays out the incentive. It's a direct reward for that growth, plain and simple. So the core idea here is to make manufacturing in India more attractive, more competitive. The government is basically moving away from just handing out money, and instead, it's shifting to rewards based on performance. The message they're sending is crystal clear. You invest here, you grow your sales, and we will reward you for that success. All right, now for the really interesting part. Following the money. Where is all this cash actually going? Let's shine a spotlight on three key industries that are right at the center of this whole mission. First on our list is an absolute giant of the industrial world, automobiles and auto components. This is a sector where India isn't just trying to compete, it's aiming to be a global leader, especially when it comes to the next generation of technology. And the amount of money being pumped in here is, well, it's massive. We're talking about an outlay of almost 6,000 crore rupees. A number that big tells you everything you need to know about how critical this sector is to the government's vision for the future. But listen, this isn't just about cranking out more of the same cars. No, it's about making a leap, moving up the food chain into what's called advanced automotive technology. We're talking electric vehicles, hydrogen fuel cells, all the super high-tech parts and pieces that make them go. The real goal is to build the entire ecosystem, from the tiniest sensor to the final car rolling off the line, and have it all happen right here in India. Okay, next up. Let's switch gears to a sector that's been a backbone of India's economy forever, textiles. Now, the number here is 405 crore rupees. And yeah, compared to the auto sector, that might seem smaller. But this is a super strategic, highly targeted investment. It's all about modernizing and completely transforming the industry. So what's the game plan? It's about shifting the focus away from just traditional cotton and towards products that are worth more. The money is aimed squarely at companies making man-made fibers and, this is the really cool part, technical textiles. I'm talking about the advanced fabrics you find in high-performance sports gear, medical equipment, even in cars. It's a really smart push to grab a piece of these new, fast-growing global markets. And for our final deep dive, let's look at a sector that does something really important. It connects India's huge farming community directly to its industrial goals. We're talking about the food processing industry. Now, this part is really interesting. Inside the bigger PLI for food processing, there's a special slice of the pie, 800 crore rupees set aside just for millet-based products. I mean, think about that.
It's a perfect example of a super targeted policy that helps both the farmer in the field and the factory on the production line. And the goals here are huge, with ripple effects everywhere. This is not just about building more factories. It's about launching Indian food brands onto the world stage. It's about creating good jobs in rural areas that aren't just farming. And maybe most importantly, it's about making sure farmers get paid better for what they grow. It connects everything, from the farm all the way to a shelf in a supermarket on the other side of the world.
Okay, so you've got all this money flowing out. The big question is, how does anyone know if it's actually working? And that very question is forcing a really important change in how these programs are even measured. This quote really sums up the new way of thinking. The government wants to move from just talking about outlays, the money they spend, to focusing on outputs and outcomes, which is what they actually get for that money. It's a major shift towards being accountable and getting real measurable results.
And this is where they're using something called the Output Outcome Monitoring Framework. So what's the difference? Well, an output is the immediate thing you get, right? Like a new factory is built. That's an output. But the outcome is the bigger win. It's that new factory helping India grab a bigger slice of the global market. See the difference? This framework makes everyone define not just the what, but the so what.
And all of this leaves us with the billion-dollar question, doesn't it? These PLI schemes are obviously a great way to kickstart investment and get things built. But the real test, the ultimate test, is whether they can help build industries that are so strong, so competitive, that they can thrive all on their own, long after the government's financial support has faded away. That's the real outcome that everyone is waiting to see.